setting up. Okay, let's just check. I think it's doing something. Yes, Matt, we're live. We are live. So, Matt, thank you very much for joining me today.
You are more than welcome.
We're just saying before we went live, the last time I saw you, Matt, because if anyone doesn't know, me and Matt worked together in Freeze. Matt's obviously the lead singer in Freeze, and obviously I play guitar. But last time we saw each other, Matt, was August.
Yeah.
The last time we gigged together was August, and it was a great gig. I don't even remember. It was outside.
Fantastic, yeah.
It was just getting a little bit cold, I think. I remember getting a little bit cold in the evening, and it was a really great gig. And then, as I said, I think our bassist joked at the time and said, "Oh, I'll look forward to seeing you guys next year," sort of as a joke at the time. And it was, that is actually the truth. It is we've not gigged since then, have we? So
No.
We missed out on. We always have a great contract with Cadbury House every year, don't we? In December, and we missed out on that. And there's been some great gigs that we've sort of missed out in the calendar. So yeah, how have you found that, Matt? I mean, how have you found sort of for you? How has lockdown been? Has that been tough, or have you been keeping? I know we've been keeping busy. And we talk about your single in a bit later, but have you found lockdown particularly tough, or
Yeah,
have you found it?
yeah. Speaking honestly, yeah, it's been awful, really. Particularly, I think a lot of people have been finding the same thing. This third one, for some reason, is just even worse. I think it's because everyone, we had the summer obviously last year, and we could get out a bit more. Everyone seemed to be, because it was so new to everybody, everyone was a bit more kind of, let's all band together. We'll put things in the windows. We'll do all these like community things. We'll all stick together. But I think we're a year down the line now, aren't we? Give or take a month, and I think everyone's just absolutely sick of it. And I think as a musician, I mean, you spoke to a lot of musicians, and everyone I think is in the same boat and feeling the same way to varying degrees. So a lot of our work has obviously just disappeared, just in an instant, almost a year ago now. I remember my own last gig was at Smoke and Mirrors in Bristol, just a solo acoustic gig, and that was in, I think it was March. It might have possibly been April, but I think it would have been March, wouldn't it? So yeah, and so it's been basically a year since doing anything like that. All that income's just been completely wiped out. So
because you were doing that, like, was it weekly at the time? You're doing
pretty much. Yeah, a good 3 times a month at least. So it was a great gig to have, and obviously everything we had in Freeze as well just completely gone. So like a lot of musicians, it was just panic stations, really. I think when things like this happen, not that they happen that often, but it shows you kind of where your weaknesses are. I think just in your business, in your day-to-day life, this is where the leaks are coming out, and all of a sudden you've got no backup or anything. And so yeah, it was pretty much panic stations. I lost quite a lot of my teaching work. I wasn't quite as quick to jump on the online lessons as you and a lot of other people were. I know you've had great success with it.
I have,
so
mate.
last year,
I have, but I'll be honest as well. I've lost students, and I know they will come back because they've said to me they'll come back, but they're not savvy with the tech, and they don't want to they don't want to sit online. And some of them, I got to admit, they find it awkward as well. And I get that, like they sit online and they find the lessons really awkward. So yes, I've done well, and I feel like I've thrived through the lockdowns, but still, I have lost students. There's no doubt about it. I've still lost students, and they say they will come back, but I don't know when that will be. When we can actually get back to face lessons. But
exactly.
who knows?
Yeah, I've got quite a few kind of older pupils who are just not doing it in the minute because they're just not comfortable with the technology.
Yeah.
Like one of my pupils is about 80, I think, and she said, "Look, I'm happy to come back, but just not now," which is fair enough. I understand that completely. But luckily, most of mine slowly came back into the fold. So I'm doing all right with the online side of things, which is a godsend, because otherwise, to be honest, it would be a nightmare. I'm quite vulnerable, got chronic asthma, my wife's type 1 diabetic. So finding other income and another job hasn't been easy, because I would if I had to, but I really don't want to do a customer facing kind of job because I just feel it's dangerous. I don't feel safe doing it.
Well, you're putting yourself in the front line, and if you've got like chronic asthma, which I know you do, then you are putting yourself into harm's way.
Yeah, so it's been pretty tough, really, trying to find something to raise income. Been doing the live streams though, lots of like request nights covers on my Facebook page, and that's gone really well. I've actually done okay out of that. That's been a massive lifeline over the last year, just doing those. Sometimes I wonder, do people really want to hear me do them and things? When you're in this lockdown, I think a lot of people, you get in your own head, don't you, quite a lot of the time, and you second guess yourself and think, is anyone interested? Is this worth doing? But it's constantly been great to just have that validation and just have people enjoy it every week. And I've had a lot of people say, well, you're making our weekend because we can't go out. So we're just having a drink at home and singing along. So that's really good. That's really good.
I think you are, Matt, and I think yes, keep going. And I know we all get in our own heads. Like when I started doing the live lessons on a Thursday night, I was thinking, am I just sort of annoying people now? And I still get that feeling all the time, and I probably am. But I just think you just got to carry on doing it, because you can stop yourself very easily by thinking that thought, and that thought just grows, and you think, oh, I'm not. What am I doing this for? And does anyone actually want this on their feed every whatever night you do it on the weekend? But they do, mate. I think they do. I think it's nice. It's just to see you pop up and just to see you, and you make their evening if sat there having a drink or whatever, and they can listen to some actual live music. I think it's a great thing to do, Matt. And I think you're going to carry on doing them as well. So. Just going back to you saying about obviously you got chronic asthma and that, really important point to touch upon, because you've worked so hard, like myself, but you've worked so hard in your fitness. Because when you first joined Freeze, and I'm sure you won't mind me saying, as you know, and you've put pictures up of like your transformation and stuff. If people have seen those pictures on your page, in that it's incredible, like where you've come from. And I think a different person, Matt, if I'm honest. When we first met you, when we started Freeze, I don't know, that must have been like, what was it, 7 years ago, maybe more than that?
I think it's more than that. I think we're coming up to 8 or 9, maybe.
Wow.
I reckon this year. Yeah, I think it's 9 actually. Yeah.
Wow, because I think I just joined just before you.
Yeah.
And then you came in sort of just after that. But yeah, I just think if you look back at some of those photos back then, I think especially for yourself and that, you must be so proud of where you've come in terms of your fitness.
Definitely.
And I was just trying to relate that to your sort of, you said about your chronic asthma. You must have made that like improve that situation.
Yeah.
Because I've noticed that when we used to gig, like in those early stages, you're constantly on the inhaler.
Yeah.
When you're singing, you're getting out of puff and stuff like that, and you're constantly on an inhaler. But I did notice towards, when we were gigging, when we said about August and stuff like that, and before then, you weren't using the inhaler so much.
No.
And so you must have, you've improved your own health really through keeping yourself sort of in shape. Is that helped you in the lockdown as well? Have you managed to keep sort of?
Yeah, absolutely. And I know that you can completely relate to this, because I've been watching your like transformation as well, which is just. I'm disciplined now with my fitness routine, but you're on another level.
Oh, mate, I have to do it. I have to get up in the morning, and I know I post, and I know I annoy people with my like stories and stuff and posting and stuff. But for me, it's an accountability thing.
Yeah, no, I completely
understand. If I don't see that little ring on my thing that I've done it that day, I've done my like workout, I've done my fitness or whatever. Then it makes me feel bad about my day. So it is an accountability thing. Some people say, "Oh, you must be obsessed with it or something. You're doing it every morning." But it keeps my head on the straight and narrow, mate. If I'm completely honest, it keeps my mental health in check and keeps me, feeling good about myself. So that's the reason why I do it every single day.
No, I completely agree. Yeah, it's been a lifesaver for me. I mean, I was into it anyway. The reason I got into fitness, which is I think I've been weightlifting for about 4 years now consistently, and it's just. If you achieve something that day, if you achieve nothing else, then you've put in some work, you've done some cardio, you've lifted some weights, and you've achieved something. And especially like yourself, if you do that in the morning, it just sets you up for the rest of the day. You feel motivated. You feel, oh, that's brilliant. Right, I've done that. What's next on the list? And then it helps your mindset throughout the rest of the day, rather than just sitting there staring at the wall, having a panic attack. And believe me, I've been there before as well.
Oh, we both have, buddy. We've both, we've talking before and in Freeze and stuff, when we have all those hours sat around in the corporate rooms just waiting for it to go on and play. We've had conversations before where we've discussed these things, and we've said about, we've both suffered with sort of panic attacks and stuff. And I don't know about you, but I've not had one for, you may have had one recently, but I've not had one for quite a long time now. And I believe it's because of the fitness. I feel like I was always constantly having that energy in the morning. If I didn't burn it off, or didn't like that sort of build up of like anxiety, I suppose, and like a build up of that every morning. If I didn't chip it off and burn it off in the morning with the exercise, which is what that helps me do, then it would lead to later on in the day I would unfortunately have like a panic attack.
No, I don't have them at all really anymore. I mean, I would say I've come close to having an anxiety attack through the lockdown and the loss of finances and that side of things. But I find there's a very different mindset with certain people, and I'm actually not one of the people who is really right. I'm gonna get up. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna change my life. Maybe I am, but I don't see myself as that. But I'm very much someone who can let everything get on top of me and just sit there and just say play computer games all day, eat junk food, stare at the wall, and think, what is the point? Nothing's ever going to get any better. That's all, kind of my default mindset, really. I'm not naturally a positive person or an optimistic person, but I have, like anything else, I've learned it, and I think it's a skill. I really do think it's a skill to get into that mindset. And if you're chemically depressed, which I have been and can be quite a lot, then I'm not for a second discounting that. It's a very important thing, and you either need counselling or medication, I think. But
Yes.
I don't think you can underestimate the power of just getting up and doing something, even if you don't feel like it.
Yeah.
And I think that's where discipline comes in. I don't think motivation lasts forever.
No.
I don't think motivation's a good enough reason to do something, because some days you're going to wake up and you're going to be like, oh, I don't want to do anything today. I just want to stay in bed, and watch Netflix or something. But if you just get up and just have a wash, just go and do whatever it is you need to do some exercise, do some gardening, write a paragraph of something you're working on, whatever, then that, like I said, that sets you up then. And then it's just, if you do that every day, then it's routine and you don't even think about it anymore. I see so many people that say, oh, I like the idea of getting in shape. It's, been great watching you do it. I couldn't do that. I'm the laziest person on earth when I want to be. It's, if I can do it, and I know it's a cliche to say, but if I can do it, genuinely anybody else can. And so I just want people to know that, and just to think.
I agree with you, Matt, 100%. Like, people that say that they can't do it, or they're massively overweight, or they're obese, or anything like that, you can do it. You just got to start at a level which is accessible for you. Like, literally, if you can't get out of bed because you're struggling to get out of bed and think, every morning, so I just don't feel like getting out of the day, just try it one day. Get out of bed and just try and go for a walk. Something really light exercise. Just go for a walk, just around the block. Even if it's just round your street or whatever, because you can't do much more than that. Great. Exactly. Then get up and try and do the same thing tomorrow and the day after, and then extend the walks. And that's how it happens. And you sort of get into it, and you get that bug, and then it becomes a routine, and you do have something in the morning to get up for.
Yeah, exactly.
I think as musicians, as you know, like, it's very easy to not have things that you get up in for in the morning, and we can just sort of get back into, like, oh no, I'll just stay in bed an extra few hours because I haven't got nothing really to do till this afternoon, sort of thing, because that's our lifestyle. But I think if you can, just make a routine for yourself, basically, make your routine, and try and stick to it every single day. It can really change your sort of mindset in that. But yeah, great. So Matt, this is really important now. We need to talk about your single. That's what we've come here to talk about today as well. So this is so important. You've just literally released your your first, it's not your first single, is it? But it's sort of, you've sort of revamped everything, and you've gone for it again. You're sort of re-releasing, and starting again. Really, it feels like I've seen like a complete difference in the content you're putting out, and all the stuff that you've been doing. Yeah, you must be excited. You must be excited for getting that single out, because it came out yesterday, was it? I think it popped
up.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it came out yesterday, and it's going very well, isn't it? We just spoke about this before we went live. You said it's going really well.
Yes, it's going fantastically. Certainly for me, it's a start, and it's definitely a restart. Like you say, it's a rebrand. So basically, what I've done is rebranded myself as MJ Reynolds, because there is actually a Matt Reynolds who plays acoustic guitar. Right. He's got a YouTube channel. And, there's other, same as what happens with a lot of people. There's other Matt Reynolds. There's a former world's strongest man.
Okay, that's not a bad one. That's fine.
So so I thought it's best to try and find some kind of original thing. And there's a few musicians out there. A notable one who's had some success in the last few years is JP Cooper. He's a good singer-songwriter in the charts and things. So that kind of inspired me to think, well, that's, I think it's almost like a stage name. Yeah. And in a way that allows me to almost have a persona as well, rather than, not be fake, but kind of feel like, right, I'm on stage now, even if I'm not, even if it's a Facebook video or a live stream or whatever. It allows me to get in that performer mindset a bit more, I think.
That's important, mate, because I remember watching recently, I think it's a video online or YouTube or something. Robbie Williams was talking about that, and he was saying, like, he's naturally a very sort of, anxious, quiet person, which you wouldn't believe that. But he has this persona that when he gets up on stage, he's Robbie Williams, and he is like that egotistical in front of them, that sort of character. And it was really funny because you always think he's just like that all the time. But it was an interview, I can't remember what it's on. He spoke about that and just said that there's Robbie Williams and then there's me. And there's a guy who gets up on stage in front of, like, in Nebworth, in front of thousands of people. That's that guy, very, I can entertain. I got massive confidence, and then there's me at home, not much confidence, and I was quite surprised at that, because I always thought Robbie Williams was that sort of all of the time, was always that sort of guy, but apparently not. So that is important that interesting that you mentioned that you created a persona sort of thing.
Yeah, I think it's more than a persona, because I want to be, one of the key cornerstones of my music is I want to be authentic, and I want to be myself. But it's definitely more, I would say, I'm more of a kind of apologetic and negative person, as I said, kind of more naturally. So what I mean by that is, got this song out. Would you mind giving it a listen? You know, it's not very good, but you know, and so that's my natural kind of default position. Be very apologetic. Oh, sorry to bother you. You know, but I thought, no, this is, you know, this it's time to actually be a personality and in that kind of way. You know, be like, no, this is out now. I would love it if you listen to it, and I hope you enjoy it. And also, I want to be a good influence on people. I want people not just to like my music, and a lot of my lyrics deal with depression and kind of anxiety, things like that. I mean, this song's about seasonal affective disorder, which I suffer with terribly, and I know you do as well. Like, especially January, February time, once Christmas is over, there's nothing to look forward to. And obviously, the way things are this year, it's probably the worst ever January, February of all time. But yeah, so it's just a song about wishing for sunnier days and kind of a better life as well. It doesn't mean that I'm unhappy with my life, but it's just, I think certain times of year, you just think, oh, things could be so much better. And so hopefully people are going to find some value in it and relate to it, I would hope. I want to just, especially with the fitness journey as well, I'm hoping to actually, I haven't figured it out yet, but I'm hoping to incorporate some of that into the music and the brand as well. So I think
wow. That's a really good idea, mate. That's a really good idea. Do you mean like writing about it in your lyrics, or do you mean like trying to sort of incorporate like a video with the music? Is that what you mean?
A bit of all of it, I think, really. Not to bombard people, because I understand that a lot of people find fitness extremely annoying to read about. But just to show, you know, it's part of my journey has been, like you say, a conscious effort to completely transform myself. So just for the quick details of it, I've lost 70 pounds now since I started. So it's I was never huge, but I was visibly overweight. I was very unhealthy. I was a smoker, like probably a pouch of tobacco like every day, back in my teenage years when I was being irresponsible, which obviously with asthma is a terrible life decision in the first place.
100%.
But I'm now 2 years fully off of the cigarettes. I barely drink anymore. And I work out 6 days a week, which I think you do as well.
Yeah.
Which seems like a lot for people. And to be honest, it is. But like I said, I'm 4 years down the road now. You've been doing fitness even longer than I have. So you get to a point where you're fit enough that you can do it. And it's still hard in a good way, but it doesn't feel impossible and insurmountable anymore. Like I said, it's part of a routine. So I'm literally half the man I used to be.
No, and people can see that on the photos as well, because I think you put a post up a while back on your page, and I even looked at it from flipping now. I can't even recognise Matt in that photo. Like you've put a picture up before, and there's an obvious difference. I think someone said to me as well, I can't remember who it was, but the musician friend said, it's like, have you got a new singer at a gig? When we were at a gig, I was like, no, it's Matt, and they're like, that's not Matt. I was like, it's Matt, honestly. Yeah, they're like, I can't remember who said that to me. It's someone at a gig, and they said, you got a new singer, and I was like, no. It's still Matt. It's always been Matt, and they're like, no, that's not Matt. I was like, it is.
That's good. I live for stuff like that. That's what makes it worth it. And if anyone's thinking about starting the journey, as I said, it's moments like that make you think, yes, I did the right thing. You know, yes, that's an achievement that someone literally does not recognize you.
Yeah.
And so just going back to the music thing, I think I would like to incorporate it just in terms of just the honesty. So you've got a brand you need to present to the world and a persona, like you say. But I think at the same time, I don't want people to think I've always been this way. I'm not saying I'm some Adonis or anything, I'm certainly not. But compared to where I was and where I am now, I think it's an important part of the journey, and it's an important part of who I am that's inspired the songs that I write. So therefore, I think it does have a place in that overall brand and image and, you know, persona I want to portray. So I haven't quite figured it out yet, but it's definitely something I want to do in the future.
I think you will, buddy. I think you will it'll naturally unravel, like the story and what your journey that you're going on now. It'll just carry on unraveling, and you don't always know like where it's going to go. And it might go a completely different direction than you thought it was going to go in. But that's the exciting part of it, you know. I think that's the great part about it.
Definitely.
I will just check and see if there's any comments, buddy, because if it, you know, people might be talking to us here, and we're not actually making any. Let's just check. Maybe. And if anyone does have any questions for Matt, feel free to to ask away. We've been sort of really look, see people saying hello, and we've not even so I'm so sorry guys if you've been watching for so long. Me and Matt are just I sort of forgot, Matt, we're alive and we're just chatting to each other, having a great conversation, and we're not talking to people watching. So thank you everyone for watching. Hey Rod, hey Chris, hi Ryan, hope you're well, mate. There's good people watching it, Matt. So Christina, sorry guys if we've just been chatting. I just completely forgot that we're just sort of live, to be honest, and we're just sort of chatting to each other. But yeah, if anyone does have any questions for Matt and about his new single and stuff, then feel free to, to ask him away there in the comments, and I will keep taking a look. I'm useless at this, mate. I always forget to check the comments when people are talking, and you just sort of forget, and you just get into conversation with someone like yourself. But yeah, so what's the plan then going forward now then? Because obviously it seems like, from my perspective as well, which is fantastic for you, it seems like you've really planned this out, this journey so far. Like
Yeah,
we've got like you've released a single. It's all been planned. It seems like it's all been very much planned. And then today you've released the lyric video that goes with the
that's right.
single.
Yeah,
It seems to be following a process, and you've now got a group as well of people that, like, obviously you're going to be your fans, and a group of people that are happy to sort of promote your material and stuff, which is
yeah.
fantastic. You're doing it all the right way. Um, have you planned this? How long in the planning is this taken? Like, is this months, or is this literally, how long has it taken you to get to that point?
Yeah, so I didn't mention, did I? But another essence of the lockdown, I just put a random post up one day, and it wasn't asking for anything. It wasn't trying to get pity from anybody, but I just put a post on Facebook saying, I wish I had some home recording equipment so I could make some music at home, because I don't have anything anywhere near good enough, unfortunately, myself, because it's something I've always gone to a studio to do. I've never really looked into the production side of things. And so being stuck at home going stir crazy, it was just a random thought that I thought I'd share with Facebook. And I had an overwhelming response from friends, and I was lent so much various different bits of equipment by different people, and I'm so grateful to all of them. And so that was last year. That was just around September, maybe the end of August. So similar time when we stopped gigging, really, or at least we had that one gig. And so I was just like, well, what now? Because we're not going to get any more outdoor gigs and things. So me being me, and I think you're quite similar, if I get into a subject of something or I decide to do something, then I will research. I will just go crazy on it, and I will watch videos. I will take online courses. And so I thought, right, I'm going to learn how to do all this myself, because I've never been happy with any of the music I've released from a production standpoint, really. That's nothing to do with the people I've worked with. They're all really talented, but it's more when you're on that clock and you're paying that money on the hour, you have a tendency, if you've not got an unlimited budget, you'll just rush through it and think, oh, that'll do.
Yeah.
I've never been happy with all my vocal performances, or maybe some of the levels in the mixing, things like that. So I thought, right, enough's enough. I'm going to do it myself. And so I've taken loads of online courses, watched probably well over 50 hours of YouTube videos on how to use Logic Pro, and recorded 12 songs so far. So wow. This single isn't a standalone thing. It's all planned, and it's all in the vault. It's ready to go, basically.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be doing one a month, and so there'll be a promo cycle for each one, kind of going around at a week before, a week afterwards, just to build the momentum, really. Because obviously, you're a businessman. I know nothing about business, so that's something I've been learning about as well as I've been speaking to you. You kind of recommended some useful kind of contacts for me, and so that's what I'm sinking my teeth into at the minute. Just hundreds of hours on business courses, Facebook ad courses, just everything like that, just to really learn how to be in the music business as opposed to just a songwriter. Because I think so many people, and I see it all the time, I've got so many friends that are so talented and they just write fantastic music of all ages. I've got teen friends who are doing it now, pupils who are releasing their own music, all the way up to my own parents and people around that age bracket. And you just fall into the trap of, well, I've put all my heart and soul into this, but I don't really know what to do with it. So I'll stick it on YouTube, pop it on Bandcamp there. Oh, it's out today. Yeah. And that's it. You just leave it after that. And it's not about that, is it? You need to build momentum. You need to constantly, what's next in this day and age, for better or for worse. I think we live in a society that's like that now, in the world of social media. And obviously, unfortunately, in a broader sense, the album format's pretty much dead. So singles are where it's at if you want to reach a wider audience. So my plan is, one single a month at the minute, on the last Friday of every month. I will probably release an album towards the end of the year featuring those singles plus some more songs.
Right.
So it's really exciting. I've never been proud of what I've done before, really. So as sad as that sounds, there's always been something holding me back and thinking, oh, I don't really want to share this with anybody. But I don't feel that way now, because this is 100% me. The production, the arranging, the recording. I've got some really good session musicians in, but again, all their parts are under my direction. So I'm completely solely responsible for whether this succeeds or fails. And I think that's a good place to be, as scary as it is, really.
Yeah, well, that's fantastic, mate. You must have learned, like, to get yourself to that point in all these YouTube videos you watch about Logic and things like that. That's all stuff that's never lost now, mate. Like, that's a skill you've acquired. you know, and then you can use this skill for your next, you know, release and your next singles that you release, and you know, or an album or whatever you're going to do.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. So you've not wasted your time, you know,
No.
and exactly what you said. You're like me. If I get my head into something, like shooting a video or something, and I get obsessed with it, I get obsessed with that subject, and I'm obsessed with researching cameras. What's this? What's that? What's the best microphone to be using? What's the best?
Yeah.
You know, that's just how we are, I think, and that's why I think that's where we've got to where we are in life, really, with sort of being a musician, because you know, we picked up the guitar, or you know, you started singing, and you play guitar as well, Matt, to a great standard. We picked up guitar, you started singing at a younger age, and it's that mentality, I think, from that young age that's got us to where we are now with the sort of playing, I
Yeah.
suppose, in terms of like, you know, to keep going, that obsessive mentality of just keep going, you know, keep doing it, really researching into stuff, and just spend hours doing things, and not really getting bored. I don't know if you get bored. I don't really sort of have a switch off point. My wife is my switch off point, where she says, "Rich, like it's tea time. What, you know, come and do something. You know, what are you doing? You've been sat there for
Yeah.
hours. What are you actually doing?" And I'm like, "Oh, I'm learning. You know, I'm doing something." Or you know,
Yeah.
and I'm sure you're the same. And that's great. I think that's where it's got to sort of say where we are now, really, I suppose.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so I mean, I'm super excited for you, mate. Like, it's really really great with the single and stuff. And I am just going to check and see if anyone's got any questions, because I said I would check.
No worries. Well,
Um,
while you're doing that, I'll just give a shout out. This Christina Mary Crosby is actually my mum. So hi, mum.
oh, okay. Hello, mum.
And he says, can you give a shout out to Talk Club UK, which is a men's mental fitness charity started by Bristol musician Gavin Thorpe and others. So yeah, that's a really good point. And again, it's very relevant to what we're talking about.
Yeah,
So
for
yeah,
sure.
Talk Club UK, please do check them out, especially if you're struggling at the minute. I think it would be a really good thing to do. Like we said, small positive steps, even if it's just talking to somebody, you know?
Yeah. I think we go back to what we were saying earlier about sort of struggling and stuff. I think, as you said about this third lockdown being the hardest, um, I felt it as well, because I felt like I've probably been like holding my breath, if that makes sense. Like
Yeah.
the whole time I was like, it's just another lockdown. It's fine. This is the second time. This is fine. And I felt like holding my breath, and I knew it was going to end, and then it did end. And I was like, oh, that's great, it's ended. And then because of the third time, I felt like I couldn't use that tactic anymore. Like just trying to
Yeah.
sort of hold my breath and keep going, sort of thing. It didn't work this time.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it's the same for you. This one felt the hardest. You know, we're still in it now, but it's felt the hardest. Not because I haven't, you know, got stuff to focus on with the teaching and, you know, other musical tasks, but yeah, just finding it tough just to sort of to focus, and also just sort of thinking about the future as well, like what we're going to be doing in the future. How's it going to look when we get back to gigging life?
Yeah.
Trying to think about all the things we might have to start doing when we go to gigs and stuff. We might have to start doing like tests and things like that, or we might have to start doing. So I don't know about you, but I'm thinking about things like that, like how it's going to work when we go back and things. So are we going to have to like do tests and stuff? You know, venues and things. How's it going to work? Are we going to have to be kept away from people?
Yeah.
Because some of the nights we've done it, like, you know, for instance, Cadbury House at Christmas, with crazy nights, like 300 plus people in a room, absolutely packed, and like nearly falling onto us on the stage.
Yeah.
I mean, going forward, that's not going to be, well, you know, unless the vaccine really starts to, you know, kick in, that's not going to be possible, is it? I suppose, but I don't know. It's really, really sort of a strange one, isn't it, to think about sort of the
Yeah.
future of gigging life and how that's going to work. Mind you, New Zealand have sort of done that, haven't they? In terms of like they've done a recent concert I saw pop up, which you know, people were just sort of as normal, like a normal concert, a normal festival, but they've got no cases, I don't think, or very limited, sort of very small cases. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, obviously, another thing to talk about your single is, do you plan to, you know, once we do get out of lockdown, do you plan to sort of, you know, get out there and do some live shows and stuff? Are you know, you're going to get out there and sort of try and really sort of promote it that way as well?
I'd like to. It's something in the past I've not really had any success with. So for now, it's obviously enforced. It's an enforced solo online studio project really at the minute, and kind of a social media thing. But I would like to eventually. I don't think it's something I could tour around with. Well, not at this stage anyway. But I might do a few like solo acoustic shows and stuff. I have done full band gigs in the past, but the problem with original music is unless you have a lot of disposable income to funnel into hiring musicians to come and play with you. It's not the same as forming a band when you're a teenager and you're a group of friends who all want the same thing and you're all into the band, etc. This is me going, well, it's a solo project and I need you to come and play my songs. You don't have any creative input on the songs because they're already done, they're already recorded. Yes. You're just coming to play a gig for me. Oh, will you do it for free? But it just doesn't work like that. So, and and it shouldn't either. musicians should be expected to be paid. So it's something I would like to do along the road if I have any success with it.
Yes.
But I think for now it would certainly just be a handful maybe of small solo shows if I could do that kind of in the local area. I would have thought, but yes, right now I'd play anywhere, absolutely anywhere, and I'd play anything, whatever songs, my own or other songs. Just be happy to be out.
I mean, once you do get back out in that, I mean, I'm sure like when you do back to your solo stuff and doing the gigs with Smoke and Mirrors, and I'm sure you've done this already, but you can start slipping some of these songs in, mate. I think people are gonna love that.
Yeah.
Your own music and just slip it in. People will be like, "What's that? What's that song? I don't never recognize that." And then you can say like, "That's your piece of music,"
Yeah, that's not a bad idea.
That's a sort of a good way I think of doing it. But I like you, mate. I admire people that go out and do it, full time as a an original artist, because it's tough. It's never been something that sort of obviously we all want to be creative musicians and write our own music and stuff, and that's the dream, isn't it? That's the big dream if we can do that. But for me, it's never been a massive draw to me to do that, because I just know how hard it is. And the amount of money and investment and time, and you got to keep throwing into that, and for sometimes very little reward.
Yeah, exactly.
You turn up to a gig and there's nobody there, and then the venue say to you, "I'm really sorry, but there's not many people here tonight, so we can't afford to pay you any money that we said." That happens. It used to happen a lot. I think it's tough to do that, and I think the way you're doing this is a very good way of doing it. Releasing the track, and it's on all major platforms, isn't it? It's on Spotify, it's on Apple Music.
Yeah,
it's all over the place, and I think that is a really great way of doing it, and and just releasing it that way. I think it's fantastic. Look, Matt, I think we've spoke for quite a period of time now, taking up a lot of your time, but I think. So to make sure I've not missed anyone's questions or anything. Excellent. Cool. If anyone does have any questions for Matt as well, you can ask after the stream sort of finishes as well. And I'm sure Matt will see that. And I said, I'm sure you'll get back to them if you have any questions and stuff. Matt, what's the plan for the rest of the day, buddy? What are you getting up to today? Anything exciting?
Oh, well, today, let's think. I've got to promote this lyric video a bit, I think.
Okay.
I'm sinking my teeth into video production at the minute, because that's the side of things. I did video production at college a long time ago now. And I always had a passion for it. I used to make music videos at college. So obviously at the minute I can't meet up with anybody to make music videos. I can't hire a music video production company. So I'm kind of halfway through a very limited kind of home music video, which is going to be all right. It's good enough. It does the job.
Yes.
That's the next thing. Sink my teeth into kind of using Sony Vegas or Final Cut Pro or something like that.
Yeah.
I am going to do a short live stream tonight. I'm going to do one every Monday from my page, which is just MJ Reynolds. If anyone wants to look at it, be like 15-20 minutes. I'm going to do it every Monday, Music Mondays, and it's just be a couple of acoustic songs, a bit of this week's news, any competitions I'm running. So yeah, it'll be I think I'm doing that at 8 o'clock tonight, just about 15:15, something like that.
And Matt, so people do want to check you out, because you did just say there, but just in case anyone missed it, if people do want to check out your new single, and also join the group and support you as well, to become basically like a fan and support when you release stuff, they can help share stuff for you, which I think is fantastic that people are doing that. Where do they need to go, Matt? Because you just mentioned it then, but just in case anyone missed it, where do they need to go to find out all the information and stuff about you?
Yeah, so my Facebook page is MJ Reynolds. That is literally it. REYNOLDS. I'm on Instagram as well, MJ Reynolds Musician, I believe it is. And you can find me on Twitter as well, the same, MJ Reynolds Musician. And I've got a new YouTube channel, so if you wouldn't mind subscribing there, that'd be amazing. There's only the lyric video so far, but I'm going to be posting new videos every week on YouTube.
Great.
And that is just, again, MJ Reynolds. If I can get 100 subscribers, I can have my own personalized custom URL. So at the minute, just search MJ Reynolds. There's not a proper one yet. It's some random string of numbers. So that'd be really good. And there's a private group. If you want to join that, then just let me know. I'll send you an invite. It's just more so that I don't spam people who aren't interested, who I'm friends with on Facebook, etc., with constant, will you share this? Yeah. So if there's people out there that do have a passion for any kind of music and just want to help the local scene, then it's just things like, I'll put all the lyric videos drop today. If you wouldn't mind sharing it, that'd be brilliant. Just stuff like that. I won't bombard you, but you'll probably get a bit more than other people would.
Yeah. I mean, and it's a really easy thing to do, and I don't think people understand sometimes how much that powerful that is. Like, we all see it on someone's doing a stream or whatever. You might just scroll past or whatever, and you can see the share button. It's so easy just to tap it. Yeah. Like, honestly, just to tap it and hit that, and that is for a musician and an artist like yourself as well. That's huge, because if you get 50 people do that, like your reach on Facebook, which we all know that unless you pay for like ads and stuff like that, is pretty, it's pretty small. Or unless you've got a big audience of, thousands of people, and still, even then, not all those people see what you've put on their feed. It doesn't come up. It doesn't work like that because of the algorithm and Facebook and stuff. But yeah, I don't think people realize like how important it is. If they see your thing come up on the feed, and it's got that little share button, hit it. Literally just hit it. You're supporting a musician massively by doing that.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
you share it to all your friends, and and they might share it as well, and it just gets bigger and bigger, really. And I think that's a really really easy thing to do, and a really supportive thing you can do without
Yeah,
even
I mean,
giving
even
any
if you
money.
don't like it, you might have someone on your friends list that would, and you just
Exactly.
don't know, do you?
Exactly. One thing I haven't asked you, Matt, because we were talking about the single and stuff. Apart from we're going to get people to go and listen to that, which would be great, and join the group. What is the style of music that you're creating? That's important, I think, for people to sort of just before we go, like what style of music you're creating. So, so what style would you call it?
That's the hard part, isn't it? Everyone always, any kind of musician, if they ask, "Oh, who do you sound like?" or "What is your genre?" I
Yeah.
don't know. What I coined is just sunny yet soulful acoustic pop, I would say.
Okay.
Closest kind of comparisons, I think. I'm trying to think of things that people will recognize, because I'm into a lot of very not too well known American bands, is where most of my original influences come from. So they're don't have a massive following in this country. But people like Jason Mraz, I would say John Mayer, not so much the technical side, because I'm not as technical as John Mayer, but certainly in his kind of songwriting style. So yeah, it's that kind of acoustic rock, acoustic pop. But I have got a very broad palette of musical genres, which is another reason why releasing a single every month is going to be good, because I can tell you in these 12 songs, I've got kind of folky ones with some violin, I've got ballads, I've got 2 reggae songs, I've got a jazz love song in 7/4 time that then goes to 4/4 time in the choruses. So
wow.
there's lots of very, very different styles. So hopefully it will appeal to a broad selection of people. Let's hope so.
That's great, Matt. That's really, really good. Look, Matt, before we go, I just want to say, like, it's great speaking to you, mate. Like, I hope I get to
Andrew?
gig with you again soon. I really
Yeah.
do. I really hope that we get to gig sometime soon. We have got weddings and stuff in the calendar, and anyone who's watching this as well, because I think we are streaming to the freeze page as well at the moment. So, if any wedding couples are watching this, just hang tight. We are still around, and we're waiting. We want to go back to gigging and playing live again for you guys, and we will do that as soon as possible and as soon as it's safe to do so. But yeah, just hang in there, I suppose. But Matt, thank you very much, mate, for joining me today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
And go and check out his single, because it's
It's
really,
just nice to see a friendly face.
yeah. No, it's good to speak to you, buddy. And I said, go and check out Matt's single, because it's really, really good, and you can support him, as I said, just by sharing. Or you can join the group if they want to start. If they really want to see that, your singles and stuff that you release, they can join your group and support you that way. Thank you very much, Matt, and I will see you soon.
Thank you. See you
Thanks for
later.
watching.
Cheers.
Bye for now.